First of all, I want to address my hat because I know some people probably looked at it real fast. Like, does that say what I think it does? Yes, it does. And it's very relevant for what we're talking about tonight because we grew up in the times where people could say whatever the hell they wanted to. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter where they was at, any venue, any setting. It was, freedom of speech. I say what I want to. If you think it's funny, great. If you don't think it's funny, move on. You know what I'm saying? If you were shocked by it, then just put a sticker on my shit and don't buy it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I grew up, but that has a lot to do with what we're talking about today, which is cancel culture. The way y'all move now is when people say things and do things that people don't like now, they choose to not just make the personal decision to say I don't want to fuck with it. They choose, it's a whole culture now where everyone has to get on board to not like each other. And so that's what we're going to talk about today is cancel culture, kind of get into some of the people who were canceled. I don't know if they're canceled or not. We're going to talk about that.
It kind of comes in waves.
Yeah, I don't know. The attempted cancels, the potential cancels, the people who should be canceled. We just going to get into that. So make sure y'all get your comments in below. Let us know who you think should be canceled. Make sure y'all, chime in. Let us know.
Done that, hey, but what do I know? I wrote this and won that, oh, but what do I know? I got degrees and went to schooling, but what do I know? Could write backstabbers and Judases, but what do I know? I've been out here, man, I've been doing it, let's get to the dough. I've been showing it, I've been proving it, I'm ready to go. Discuss the what, whys, and the who did it, let's get to the show. This podcast just might be the go, oh, but what do I know?
What's happening, y'all? It's Trey Smith. We here for another episode of But What Do I Know? Of course, Ruckus has the day off, so we're going to get into all kind of shenanigans that she may or may not see. We don't know yet. But I do have two very dope guests with me tonight who can tap in on this subject with me. If you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves, I'll start over here.
What's happening? Young tenor, Mr. After Hours, Adonis, whatever you want to call me, man. Promoter, DJ, here to tap in and let y'all know what it is on my side. You feel me?
Okay. And over here to my left.
Yo, what's up, people? This is Brother Taj. A lot of you guys know me from working security at different venues and also working at the Second Chance Center.
All right. Perfect. And the reason we got them on here today, so recently, I don't know if the city notices, we've had a lot of venues and locations that we all enjoy shut down. And it's seeming to happen for us. Me and Ruckus had a conversation about it. It seems like it's starting to happen at a faster rate than before. So we wanted to get to the root of it and see, where we can place a bit of accountability, and if there's a conversation that we can have that possibly changes that going forward. Even with myself, I as some of you know, I do security at the Improv, and one of the things that triggered at the Improv, where a couple of weekends ago we were actually doing security for Mike Epps, and they were very, very strict on no photos, no videos. So much so that I went out of my way to make the announcement myself and say, hey, no photos, no videos. If you get caught, we'll kick you out. No refunds. I had the whole spiel. The host of the evening, he said it as well. Hey, we're working on a special. We're doing this. Please don't take photos. Please don't take videos. And I had an incident where someone I knew heard all of that. They didn't give a shit. They still took the pictures, posted them on social media. Now, me trying to be a good person and a good friend, I told this person, I'm like, yo, you can actually get in a lot of trouble for that if you could just be cool, take it down. You know what I'm saying? Person blew up on me, said, why? Are you trying to snitch? I'm like, well, first of all, you just posted this shit on social media, so you told on yourself. And improv, they have a social media, so they could see who paid to see him at the meet and greet, who snuck, and they, at the very least, you can get kicked out of the venue, not be able to come back. At the very most, if the comedian feels like he stood to lose money from what you shared, he can come after you. And I know you ain't got the bread to pay the comedian because you ain't had $100 to pay for the picture with him. So that kind of triggered me into thinking of, and then just not long after that, we find out Rhubarb got shut down. And then not long before that, we had Oasis, and so many of the spots downtown we would go to, Dorchester, Lit, Purple Martini for a while, incidents where people feel like Native might be the next one to get shut down. So many different venues. So I wanted to get to the bottom of it and ask you guys a few questions. Like, do you what do you feel is the root of why these places could be getting shut down, or is it just one thing you can pinpoint it on? Do we hold the people who come in responsible? Do we hold security responsible? Who do we hold accountable, or who do we look at and say, hey, let's start here and work our way up to figure out how we can prevent this from happening?
Yeah. It's a really good question, because the answer, it's not easy to really touch on the answer. You're really talking about really multiple factors,
right?
That lead to things like, people just violating security, whether it's like, as you said, the policies inside the club, or violence, shootings, fights, things like that. My experience though really is most of the responsibility rests on the shoulders of management and the owners. Okay. And not in the sense of that they're responsible for people's behavior, that they're not. But I think that it's the owners and management that sets the tone for the venue. Right. If you set the tone for the venue, then what happens is that sort of spills out into your customer base. And so that builds an expectation for what they're going to encounter when they come through your door. Right. And if you, I have seen that owners and management that pay more attention to that aspect of it, that they tend to avoid more of those problems for the most part. Okay. There's still a factor of people going to do what they're going to do. But it's also about exerting control, running your venue, setting the tone and the ambiance and all of those things for where you operate out of. And then you allow that to spill out in terms of what people expect. With nightlife in general, maybe on the block that you're on, maybe with clubs that are similar. So I really think that management, it starts there. And I've seen places that generally have a lot of those repeat problems. Mm-hmm. For me, it's always a factor that the management, the owner, really don't give really a lot of due diligence to their customer base. Yeah. There's they don't relate to them, to be quite honest. And you can tell just from a feeling standpoint, they don't give a damn about you, don't know anything about you, your culture, where you come from. And when you can't relate like that, then it becomes a us versus them type of mentality. And it's the same thing with security. Security has problems when they take a us versus them sort of mentality with customers, right? And management owners, they do that a lot too. And there's a lot of owners of clubs that especially cater to us that don't know nothing about us and don't see us as anything other than consumers where they can get our money.
Right.
You're absolutely right. And I feel like Rue Bar was kind of lived in that world, even though I liked the Rue Bar, but it wasn't us. That wasn't black owned. It was kind of, you know what I'm saying? It was. So when in these situations, when people are just taking advantage of the culture and different things, but when you speak on this, I'm coming from being a promoter for 10 years, plus years, dealing with, I had personally over thousands of events, you know what I'm saying, different stuff. So on the skin deep on the surface, when you talk on the surface, owners and all that's the problem, you know what I'm saying? Right. They would take mostly fault. But when you dig deeper, it's actually the culture we live in. That's why I would tell you, we could say all this, what we can do, and age limits and all this other, it's not going to change because our culture comes with a darkness. And that's just what it is.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
People don't want to come with that reality, but it is because we promote certain things that attract certain things.
Right.
So when you live in and you playing these music that attracts certain things, that's going to happen. It's just like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's unavoidable. Now, trying to manage it, like the spots we have now, you say native closing that, they're going to get closed down. This is just by history. Right. Of history of every club. No club ever lasted. You know what I'm saying? So just speaking off of history of Denver clubs, it's just about when. Now, when you're coming in, if I own a club and buy a club, I'm going to understand that it's going to be, we got a year, 2 years. It's not going to be forever.
Right.
Hip-hop clubs don't be forever because it attracts this thing. So I have that understanding. A lot of people don't have that understanding going in. Hey, when I'm doing a hip-hop event, I can't keep a forever club because you know why? The culture attracts these things, and that's unavoidable. You know what I'm saying? You can be any age, 50, when cigar bars still got shot up, and people died there. Yeah. And that's an older place, and that's somewhere you wouldn't think. But what I tell you, certain things attract, and it's unavoidable. So you say what we can do to fix it, we got to start promoting a different lifestyle and different energies, and that'll fix it. If we wanted a permanent fix. Now, you know what I'm saying? But that's a lot, and that's whole. Yeah. You gotta really, that's whole, you know what I'm saying? Rewiring a whole lot. Now, managing it better, we can do that to where we can at least keeping these clubs longer lasting and more. Because unfortunately, our culture comes with a darkness. We got these idiots that we can't control, and just like you said, people are gonna do them. They're gonna do their things. I have no understanding what makes people pick up a gun, be so mad. We be out partying, having such a good time, and be so mad at somebody that want to pick up a gun and just kill you. Like, not even knowing you, like, and I see it happen live in my face so many times, like, all the time. And I'm just like, the main cue, us people, to make it last, we got to communicate better. And everything is just stems off of that. We don't know how to communicate, and everything becomes a pride thing and just a battle, so they're quick to fight. Because we don't know how to communicate. Hey, I'm trying to get my point across. If I don't get my point across, I'm going to fight you.
Right.
Nigga, if you don't accept my point, I'm gonna fight you. And that's pretty much our energy, you know what I'm saying, coming in and shit. So if we learn how to communicate better, it'd be a start base for making our things last longer. You know
Absolutely.
What I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I could touch on the communication portion because I've had, even being security and dealing with certain folks and saying, hey man, I don't want to be no asshole. Like, chill out. I don't want to have to get up and kick you out. I done had guys who, you want to play the tough role, and I'm like, well, it's 6 of us and 1 of you, and you don't even realize you're gonna lose this fight. Not only are you gonna lose this fight, the police are gonna come grab you, and they're not gonna ask us shit. You know what I'm saying? So it turns into this whole thing that I've had to say, like, yo, man, I don't want to be that guy tonight, man. Just relax, do your thing, have a good time. And on the patron side of it, I've seen those scenarios where I can see someone and be like, this motherfucker ain't up to no. I remember specifically one time in Rue Bar, I come in there, it's a dude in there in some dusty ass Orlando Magic shorts. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't look like he was there to get dressed up and have a good time. He looks like he was there for some absolute bullshit. And I just, I don't like going places where I have to look at someone and go, watch him. You know what I'm saying? You can't have fun like that when you got to look over your shoulder all night. But I can say as far as communication, that's one of them people you got to look at and be like, hey man, you got it. Because if you can identify someone who's looking for the bullshit, you want to get away from that bullshit as with little complications as possible. Because we are in such a fight or flight headspace in the club, and we shouldn't be like that. You know what I mean? I thought the original plan when niggas went to the club was you get drunk with your partners, you see something you like, you get her a drink, y'all figure out if y'all gonna do something after the club, maybe take her to get breakfast, maybe go home or whatever. I thought that was the game plan. The minute I started being able to get into the clubs, and then slowly but surely I looked up and was like, oh, it's a completely different thing. Like I can't just center on this one thing. I gotta make sure this nigga ain't tripping. I gotta make sure this nigga ain't gonna get mad at me. And I done made friends just based on communication. I done been in a House of Babes. Shout out to them. They're a whole different club now. But one of my closest friends, like we became friends just fresh on communication. You know, he wanted to jump on somebody who was a family member of mine, and I'm like, yo, I'm from Park Hill, bro. And from that point on, me and him became cool. And just based on communication, like, yo, man, it ain't that kind of party. We doing our thing. We finna get up out of here. So I definitely think we need to quit looking at one another when we're in the club with this whole, you know what I mean? Going into a club and you see niggas just eyeballing each other. You know, and it's beautiful, half-naked ass women everywhere, and I've never understood, well, what you paying attention to this nigga for? Like, look at her. Like, I'm going this way. You niggas want to argue? Cool, I'm going to go over here. But I agree as far as the communication. Do you guys believe as far as the music being played? Because I'm pretty sure y'all remember a time when at the end of the night, if Bash was playing a certain song, you knew the fights was finna go down outside. If Nuck If You Buck was playing I Beat Your Ass by Crime Mob, it's certain songs you just knew, like, oh shit, here we go.
No, speaking from a DJ, absolutely. So a DJ controls the energy of the club, of the party. So, and that's why we try to play some slow music and do different things, switch it up. You know what I'm saying? Try not to stay on one level. But absolutely. But at the same time, I see R&B parties get start breaking to a brawl. You know what I'm saying? So, that's not always the excuse or, you know, always the fix. People think that's like the big solve and you can solve anything by just playing soft music all day. It's not true. You know what I'm saying? And people don't want to hear soft music all the time. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they want to hear nothing if you but it's that type of night. But as a DJ where I push the bounds a little bit, where I be playing some shit where sometimes I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, this might be this might be it. But them is the songs that you know what I'm saying. Fuck, them is the songs you want to. That's gonna turn everybody acting an ass, and you just like, damn. Them is the songs you want to play the most. But as music DJ, I try not to play shit that you know with the words that's real like blood, any like crib, like that. Them certain words in it that just has in certain sections where it'd be like you know where reps the real hood or real, you know what I'm saying. Certain sections. Try to avoid them songs and shit like that. But I mean, and even then, I done seen sections get turned. Like I done seen niggas turn tripping on you into cripping on you, and I'm like, oh, this ain't the move, y'all. Shit. So you know what I mean? It's just, I guess it's tough as far as the music goes. Do you feel like as far as those who, like you said, take advantage of the culture, do you feel like at some point in time they look and just see a black face and don't really care or don't pay attention or are as aware as, say, since, you know, the three of us might be into that culture and see how that culture moves, do you feel like they don't care or pay attention the same way we would, the way we can look and be like, I don't know about this nigga here. Yeah. Do you feel like they don't really care the way that we do in that sense?
Well, yes, but for two reasons, though. They don't care, or at least it seems like they don't care because they may not have that experience.
They don't think they don't think they have to care.
Yeah, when like from a security standpoint, you kind of end up learning what to look for, and so that becomes how you express your expertise, right? And so, from a security standpoint, there are certain things that you feel, a vibe that you feel, and certain things that you notice because you trained to look for those things. So maybe people don't know that. But really, honestly, I come back to like, people don't care because again, they look at people and certain people in a way where they're the other. And there's just no connection, to be honest. And so when a lot of people in the club, customers, we interact with each other outside of the club, right? We see each other at events. fundraisers, community events. And I never see these club owners, right?
Hardly ever.
Ever. So there's no investment in terms of, from their standpoint, into our life and our lifestyle and our history and our community. And so it's still that separation. And so where we see them is at the club where we're just customers. And you can feel that, yo. You can go somewhere, you can go to a club and automatically know that this club owner don't know shit about black people. And he might even be low-key racist. But as long as my money is good, then I'm good. And that is like really, like in Colorado especially, like from my experience, that is repeated over and over again. The club is ran by somebody who feels like they are separate from their customer base. There's no relation to it. And customers are not stupid, and they're not ignorant, and they're not unfeeling. They can feel that shit from the time they come in. And you know, there are things that just make your guard go up.
Right.
And it's when you feel like somebody's kind of lorded over you and they have some sort of authority over you.
But it's kind of hard because it gives them some points off top when we living in this world where a lot of club owners don't even want to deal with our color, our culture, or nothing. So we already feel like we should be appreciative for them allowing us even in the club, because we can't go, no, we're not accepted. Right. You know what I'm saying? Most of these other spots are not letting them in at all. But you is. So, you know what I'm saying? There's a level of, we got to thank you. You know what I'm saying? For at least.
But you still feel that, like, and I think we feel
what you're saying.
We feel that. Like, we know that there are some spots that are for us.
These people are not. Yeah, downtown, 95% of downtown clubs don't want hip hop, okay?
Yeah,
downtown. 95% of clubs downtown are not hip hop. Period.
Because from
about 5%, we got about 5% downtown. That's a very, very low number. You know what I'm saying? Like that's this low number. Yeah. And right now, that's changing. Actually,
the Ruckus said we just described challenges. Hilarious.
That's actually changing in our culture, because now the DJs, the promoters are starting to step into roles in those roles.
Right. And that's and it's nice to see that.
Status is like my people's own status, like it's our people's that's starting to get in them roles. But more of DJs and promoters, we're starting to take more control of what we want to do and invest in. But that's just starting. Like I tell you, we're still 5%, we're still very low, but it's starting to change. But you're right, it's so hard when we're 5%. So when they open their doors, they're in a position where they can just take advantage. Yeah. You know, and we just give it to them because we don't do nothing else. You know what I'm saying?
You feel it. It's a resentment.
They're going to get a promoter, and the promoter's going to bring in all the money, and the DJ going to bring all, and they're just going to sit back and not even care to need to know. They don't even need to know. Shit, they don't.
This is true.
Honestly, to keep it real, they don't need to know shit. They're going to bring in the right DJ, the right promoter, and get all the money, and just chill back and make sure, hey, my money right? You know, they don't care how they promoting it. They don't care how he's deep, but he's DJing. You know what I'm saying? They don't. Two fucks. And that shows sometimes in it. And they do be racist and some more shit sometimes. I done seen it all with you, like in them clubs and them people that don't give a fuck at all. Yeah. Them, you know what I'm saying? People out of country motherfuckers be running our shit, getting money, but
on the flip side of that, do you feel like, you know, when we have a venue that's for us, that we trying to develop and keep this thing where it's just between us, do you feel like at times our patrons that look like us and are a part of the culture, do you feel like they feel like we're a little more lenient because we look alike, so they can kind of just act whatever? I've had times where people would come to the door and be like, brother, I can't do this, and nah, man, it ain't. I can't let you do none of that shit. I can't let nobody in here do that. You know what I'm saying? So do you feel like the patrons should hold responsibility for, you know, wanting us to be a little more lenient with some of the bullshit that they would go somewhere else and not even allow? Because like I explained to a girl, we asking you to just not take pictures. We not taking your phone from you and shit. You go down there to one of these other spots, they gonna lock up your phone and you ain't got no choice but to obey them. I'm gonna say it. You're obeying what they telling you to do when they lock up your phone. So do you feel like there's a difference in there?
You use that example even asking that question, because the answer is, we black people, we love our people, we don't want to live in reality sometimes. The real truth. The real truth is our people don't give a fuck. Okay? Yeah, they really don't. Oh, we own it, they own it. It's been proven so many times, and I can give you a million billion examples that they're just patrons that really just don't give a fuck. Okay, so it's hard to keep anything with people that don't give a fuck. And so if I let me tell you this, if I decided to go buy a club downtown, I'll be less inclined to make it hip hop. Okay, if I say if I took a loan out, $200,000 to go do this, without trusting it, I'll be less inclined, and that's keeping it real. That's just going off of history and me being smart and business minded. Because I know the actual facts is our crowd is rougher, and our track record shows that in every way, form, and fashion. So
let me piggyback on that though. I'm thinking of two examples of like longevity. One is Reggae on the Roof. Mm-hmm. That joint was open for forever. Did it have its problems? Of course, but it seemed to have sort of defeated the failure model, and part of it was really the marketing of expectations. Like when just the name of it was Reggae on the Roof. So when you think about it, you're thinking of reggae music, and you're less likely to feel like that type of music is conducive to violence and shooting up and even fucked up attitudes.
Let's keep it real. That don't attract the same thing. Them two don't attract the same thing.
So what happened was in the beginning, like the crowd, you could tell the crowd was mostly reggae, and it was cool. But what ended up happening was what I saw was an interesting evolution where it was more hip hop was injected. And I know the promoters did that purposefully, where they were like, at some point, we're not just going to be strictly reggae because we ain't going to get the crowds. Yeah. But if we do a little bit more hip hop, control the type of music that we do inject, the crowds will build. And that's exactly what happened. And that place ran successfully for over a decade. Another example that comes to mind is Proof, where that place I worked security there for a couple of years, and I was kind of impressed in terms of how management really started with just expectations, right? Like you're expected to come and dance and enjoy yourself. The way that some of the processes were run were conducive to that. Like I remember like the only thing I really did inside of Proof as security was make sure that people didn't have drinks on the dance floor. But I understood the mentality of that. It was like, hey man, I can't have you have the drink on the dance floor because if you spill it, somebody gonna bust their ass. Right. And now that's more of a, people started beginning to understand that. And mostly everybody that went to Proof danced. That place stayed open it only closed because of COVID, to be quite honest. So I think taking advantage of those things in a strategic sense would create more of a formula for success. But look, I agree 100%. There's such an attitude amongst us that we really don't give a damn. But I think that's where, if you're going to run some shit, you got to take those things into account and build that into your strategy some way, shape, or form. Right. One thing that I've always done working security and even running security crews was I always encourage my guys to not wear the uniform, the pseudo SWAT uniform. Right. Because if somebody comes up to you and they look like they want to be SWAT and they're exerting that authority that we already got a problem with the real police, you've already started off on the wrong foot, right? Or somebody in a suit and tie or at least a shirt and tie who's now relating to you in a much more professional sense, it's easier to deal with problems like that. So like Dorchester, DC-10, Bar Standard, those were all spots where when I was running the crew, it was like, hey, we're not fitting to wear the security shirt and the BDUs and the jack boots. We're going to try to look as professional as possible and relate to people so that, because, you don't want to get your ass beat by somebody in a suit and tie. That ain't cool. But even that attitude of we don't come with, we finna whoop you and throw you out the back. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We're going to relate differently. A lot of times that strategic change and approach to how you run something, it had like an overwhelming effect. I just think sometimes management, even now, management is we want security and we want to pay the cheapest rate, right? Which means the standard of who works in there ain't going to be that high. You know what I'm saying? We'll leave it up to the security firm to determine who works, but there's not any build-in, even from the owner, in terms of just what their security looks like. And that spills over into the floor, and now you got problems because you got a lot of people working security with very little training, very little experience, and they come in and they're just as much of a problem than, you know, the guy that comes in with the dusty shorts on. You know what I'm saying?
And it's funny because Ruckus was just asking like a question real similar to that as far as the event, and does it constitute the crowd being, you know, per se classy or ratchet, or is it just, and that's kind of what my question was going to be as well, is like, is it just certain events that we know what to expect regarding the crowd? As far as if, you know, for example, when I went to judge a twerk contest, and you were there for that one, and we couldn't get niggas off the stage. We could not get these niggas wanted to be in front and center, and everybody looking at them, and you got people who the women on the side who they in the way. They don't want to get in the goddamn contest, but they just in the way.
Right.
As soon as we finally decided, fuck it, we just not gonna do the twerk contest. Now they all on stage want to twerk. All the niggas is everybody done dispersed, and I'm like, what's the? Where does the order come into play for shit like that? And you got on the mic and was like, man, get the fuck off the stage. I got on the mic. Shout out to you know the people who was hosting it that night. Like everybody at some point in time got on the mic and was like, yo, get the fuck off the stage. And niggas was like, nope. Look at me, y'all. So does certain events constitute the crowd as far as what's going to happen?
Yeah, yes. But also, I think, and this is really just my opinion, first of all, you got to even foresee that maybe. Like if you're going to run a twerk contest, you got to be like, okay, I know one factor is I got to address the dudes that want to shake their ass. So then that becomes an attitude thing. Like back in the day when we was running Bar Standard and DC-10 and Zen, because Zen had like a pole in the middle of the joint, right? And I think it turned into Rockstar Lounge, and there was a pole. And so sometimes we would actually have like an entertainer come in and work on the pole.
Yeah. Sutra had one too, right?
Yeah, but we would go up to, we would be like, hey man, look, if you get on the pole, first of all, you're gonna get dragged because we're gonna post you on social media, on the actual club page, right? We're gonna post you and we're gonna drag you for acting like a female, but also throw you out the club on top of it. What ended up happening was dudes was like, hey man, I'm not finna get on that poll because I don't want to be on Facebook, you know what I'm saying, that on Monday.
Right.
So it became a thing where like from the staff and from security, you start building the expectations. And we quit having, because we had those issues, but we really quit having them because we approached it from a strategic standpoint.
Right.
Right.
And do you think, and this is another question from Ruckus, does it really help to change the age limit at all on the club?
Okay. Let me elaborate on what you're saying.
Yeah, so that'll be our next bullet point for that.
To touch on the first question, entitlement, which wraps up what your problem, what you were saying with the girl posting the pictures, you know what I'm saying, all that. Entitlement. Everybody wants to be entitled because everybody wants to be feel special. Mm-hmm. So since everybody wants to feel special, they're entitled to be on the stage. They're entitled to be the only one to take pictures and phones. They're entitled to be the only one to be able to smoke in here. Right. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants that entitlement so bad that they give a fucking attitude. And that's what really projects that. Mm-hmm. Now, moving on to your age limit. Absolutely. It can affect a lot of different factors. The age limit, especially if you're going 30 and plus, of course it's going to cut your odds down. Now, I play everything by odds. Now, it's not going to solve it. There's no quick solve. Let me just say there's no something that's going to be like 100%, this is going to be good now. You know what I'm saying? There's not. That just don't exist in our world, you know, if that makes sense. But what that can do is cut your odds down for sure. 25, instead of cutting them 5, that cuts your odds down more. 30, okay, that's going to cut your odds down more. You know what I'm saying? I absolutely. So it does matter, but it's not a quick solve. So it also doesn't mean nothing can happen. You know what I'm saying? So it still has the owner, still has to take everything just as serious. You know what I'm saying? Carry it away in the same, you know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get it, because certain pieces of it have to be, I agree that, I believe certain pieces of it have to be enforced, because if you hold that age limit to such, I've been in places where the age limit is 35 and up, and still seen people come in and be like, oh shit, here this motherfucker go. And have to be like, well, y'all, the visit is gonna be real limited now because this person's there. So
well, I also think if you're going to have any sort of parameters for how you want your crowd to be, you almost have to incentivize it. If you're gonna say this is 35 and up, then you gotta bless the people that are 35 and up that come and patronize your venue. And maybe you have a particular event that for them, anyone within that age range, they get in half price or get it. You got to do things that because then that touches. You're right. People are entitled, but sometimes you gotta pay attention to that, right? We know VIP is strictly for narcissism and entitlement,
You
right?
can literally play on it.
Right, and so you got to establish a great VIP and then promote it as such.
Motherfuckers, we know how to get y'all. You
got it. So then when people come, because you're right, we are, first of all, as a society, we are narcissistic and we are self-centered. That's because it's consumerism.
100%. Actually, only thing I hate people that skip over that fact, because once you skip over that fact, you can't offer no understanding to any situation you look at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so if we just ignore that our culture carries that stigma, you know what I'm saying? You can't offer no understanding to nobody. You know what I'm saying? Even though we don't like the fact, but you gotta at least acknowledge it so I can offer understanding and we know how to play situations work correctly. You know
but that's the point. It's the understanding, and then if I understand how you are, I can pay attention to that and use that to provide an experience for you specifically. Because I know I'm like, look, he wants this, Let me slide it to him, and then now I got a loyal customer. Right?
This is true.
If that's the attitude that you have, people will pick up on that, yo. And they start to appreciate your venue more because they feel appreciated. If you don't relate to your customer, they will not feel appreciated. If I see an owner that don't look like me, and I know that motherfucker ain't never been in my neighborhood, he don't give a fuck about where I come from, then I don't feel appreciated. So when I come up in there, I don't have any investment in what you're doing. I don't have any investment in the fact that you put money in this club. I don't give a damn about the furniture. I'm throwing glasses. I'm breaking bottles. I don't give a fuck about you because I always feel like you don't care about me.
It's true.
You know what's so scary, man? And this just happened. You know, I do after hours. 10 years now, right? So when I tell y'all I've seen it all, this is after hours, y'all. So this ain't the club. This is extremer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when I say I've seen like the darkest and I done seen some shit. But anyway, this is recently. A few weeks ago, I'm at the club, you know, after hours, and I'm leaving. And these girls are tripping. And well, let me rewind. I'm with some girls, and they're my homegirls. Hey, Tanner, we rock with you. We rock with you. They loving me, right? Hey, we rock with you. What you got next? Next thing you know, she's tripping with somebody. Tripping with a girl. She is going crazy. Right. She wants to be the hardest person. Or you got the wrong one. She got the point to prove that. And the girl ain't even tripping, but she's pressing the shit out of her. But I had to come to her like, hey, calm down. You remember you at my spot? You remember just 2 seconds ago? She didn't give a fuck. No, Tim, I'm really about that now. I smack with you. She didn't calm down, even though I'm like literally like, hey, please respect the spot, respect the nigga. I'm telling you, niggas get this switch on and that narc, they turn that switch on, they really don't give a fuck and you can't help it. It's almost trained into people. Does that make sense to have that dark blackout switch that you can't even help? And the next day she apologized. Hey, Tanner, I'm so sorry. But that makes sense. I couldn't control her at the time at all. It's already done. I can't. She's already pressed the line, swung on her, chased the bitch out. You know what I'm saying?
Look, that's a reality. Like you said, there are certain things we can't skip over. As a people, we still are fucked off by slavery, right? We're in a straight up post-traumatic stress disorder situation because that situation was 500 years. So we still got another 500 years of healing just to even get out of that. Right. And if you're going to have, look, the reality is if you're going to take on the responsibility, it's a big responsibility.
It is.
If you're going to take on the responsibility of gathering us, it's like gathering a bunch of cats. You already know the first thing that pops off, you got to deal with that. But I think it's the long game, right? You know we're fucked up, yo. But the reality is you have to, and anyone in leadership has to promote some sort of environment of healing. Maybe it's not a hip hop club, but it might be some other venue where I got to have my people involved in it, right? We're starting to see more of those things. You know, we're starting to see things like the Black Ski Summit and even some local stuff where people are now coming. I got to get my people, take them out to the mountains or take them out of these environments and give them some new experiences where now we can start discussing and experiencing the things that heal. It might be, bro, that the solution for us is say, fuck the hip hop club.
Honestly,
it just might be that because we got the reality is if we keep having hip hop clubs and people keep getting killed.
How much do you value to be able to party in peace? That's when that question asks you. Do you value it enough to start going to more reggae, to more really start? Do you value it that much? You know what I'm saying? To really for us to be like. Because one thing I always look for that fix of what can make my parties more safer and one more, and it's so funny because I battle with myself and I tell all these people wear this dress codes and all this, but then I go up there and play Mozzie and talking about killing everybody. So it's a lose. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually putting my people in a situation to lose because I'm feeding them this energy and then telling them not to feel. You know what I'm saying?
So
you see how that combats
we got to explore some of those non-traditional avenues.
Exactly. Right. So club owners, we want everybody to be cool and peaceful while we playing the most energy songs that's not going to keep you cool and peaceful. Does that make sense? You see how that combats itself? Asking a lot, honestly. You know what I'm saying? It's like, fuck, this music is going to make me want to go slide tonight. And then now you asking me not want to go slide. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you're right. How much is that piece worth to us? Is it worth enough to be like we can listen to this all night, or we can listen to R&B? We can really just start really. And
nobody's getting killed, and we're not going to a funeral. Yeah,
definitely. I hear both of y'all. So what we gonna do real quick is we gonna take a break. We'll come back in just a few minutes here. We got to, take care of some bills and so forth. And, I got a few more questions I want to ask on this because this is a very interesting topic and discussion that I'm having right now. So y'all hold on. We'll be right back with you.
Don't go nowhere.
All right.
Mental health is key. What advice you wish you had at a younger age about keeping your mental health intact to be dealing with the things that we deal with today?
I'll probably say being able to open up more to people around you instead of bottling everything up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like open up more and not being so aggressive.
Yeah, I've been telling y'all all day, man. Y'all gotta be vulnerable. You gotta allow yourself to let people in. Because if you like you said, if you're not letting it out, it's gonna bottle it up. That's gonna build that anger inside of you, and that's not the mental health we need. So take care of yourselves first. Go get somebody to talk to.
Do I think there's a problem with youth violence? Yes. Personally, yes. But I don't know. The young guys are gonna have to get in their heads that there's different routes for you to go about things. There's different avenues that these youngins, people my age, that we can take, but we're not realizing it. So that's why we need to get together as a community, as Black people, to figure all that out.
Save your money. Save your money. I had a job, been having a job since I was 15, so definitely saving money for, getting a house, buying my own car, things like that. I probably would have saved. Ask for support. you're feeling some type of way. I work in mental health now, so I totally understand this. Ask for help. Don't be afraid to tell somebody what's going on. Focus on school. Don't worry about nothing else. And if you need help, ask for it. Definitely would have asked for some more help. Because I did not do good in school, and I was acting a fool for a little while. But I got it together. Got my degree, stuff like that later on. But during high school, definitely would have did better.
All right, y'all, and we are back for the rest of the episode this evening. You know, I got my boy Tanner with me. I got Taj here. This is a hell of a conversation we having about this nightlife, and you know, hopefully this conversation progresses outside of here. Definitely. So Ruckus wanted to ask a question before we took a break, and I felt like this would be the perfect way to start off the second half. Do you think certain promoters equal that absolute bullshit at the event?
Now, what's the answer? Ask that question again.
She said, do certain promoters equal that absolute bullshit at the event? Now, you know, Ruckus is going to ask the question that's like, uh-oh.
First of all, peace out. Peace out to Ruckus, and shout out to Ruckus too, man. Shit, that was a good ask.
I'm not even going to say promoters, no. I don't feel like there's just one really promoter that's really does it, really consistent that just brings out. Right. Let me get this, because I get this all the time, and I kind of hate it sometimes. After our crowd, tenors crowd, and okay, I love it.
Yeah.
We are so small. We're 5% of Colorado. We're like this small. We don't have much of a culture, even though we like to pretend we do. We got 5% of downtown. We're this tiny out here, right?
Right.
There is no here's crowds. We all sharing crowds, okay? Let's understand this. If I don't have after hours, they're out somewhere at a different after hours, okay?
Exactly.
We all sharing the same crowd, the same black faces, the same black people. They don't come to my club event. They're going to Native. They're going to. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So understand that my crowd is Squizzy's crowd but I understand when it comes to certain people connected to certain things that might bring more of that out. So say if I'm connected to the east side, I might bring more of the east side out. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That brings more of that stigma, where my stigma roots from. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm more connected with the east side, and I you know what I'm saying? So they followed me in my career starting out more than other sections. So that stigma kind of pressed it. But as we say right now, it's the same crowd. It's not the same crowd that's not at the other after hours. It's not at the. Does that make sense? It's like we're sharing crowds in a certain way. There's not like a big crowd. Same people that's fucking up my shit. The same people fucking up their shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. Yeah, I'm more hesitant to put it on the promoter per se, but I feel like there's an underlying point in terms about trying to compare promoters to promoters. Yeah. And I think that the biggest, for me, from my experience, the biggest issue is a new promoter who might have really just be starting off in the game. Because you're right. Guess what? Their crowd is the old crowd. Mm-hmm. Their crowd is the crowd that the promoters who've been around. It's the same people.
Yeah.
And so like, sometimes we build a rivalry.
The people that been here 10 years, like we,
and we don't get no love to the new cats, and they're dealing with the same crowd, but they may not have that experience, and then that usually might lead to some problems.
I hate it. They take it lightly
with their events.
They take security. They might not even have security
because they don't got experience. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They don't got no experience
because they don't take it that danger. Like they don't understand. They are playing with people's lives tonight, right now.
Yeah.
And I've been to events where a nigga had just his violent ass partner as security.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, my man.
You already know what's going to happen.
I just talked about this because some of the little
happen.
people that throwing parties, but they had no real security, but they had their people walking around with guns.
Right.
And I'm trying to explain to them, all right, people, if I come to the door and I see a nigga dressed normal with a pistol on his hip, it's already giving a certain energy. It's giving a gun energy. I need a gun energy immediately. To every nigga that's gonna walk up. It gave it to me when I walked up. Oh shit, I need a gun.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To any nigga, so it's already. And that same night, that shit got shot up. That shit, people was outside shooting.
Yeah.
And I told people earlier, like, this is 100% going to happen. It's y'all promoting this energy. You got your peoples walking around with guns on their hip, like. You know what I'm saying? That's already giving people an energy of, I need mines too. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like some of the solution to that is maybe. And one of the things I thought about was, especially when you have, like, because that's just an experience, right? Because anybody who sits and thinks about it for a second.
I did it before.
Well, but what I'm saying is you really saw, if somebody, but here's
when I was young,
if somebody came to you and said, look, as a collective, right, from a promotional collective, we want you to be successful. There's plenty. Look, your crowd is the crowd I already got, and they gonna come to you, and they gonna pop over here. Then there's got to be some mentorship involved in it, because if I want you to be successful, then I got to tell you, hey man, don't have security be, you know what I'm saying, gang members with guns on their hips, right? And you'll listen because I know that he's saying something from an experience standpoint. He's been doing this, and he's buying into what I'm doing. If we avoid some of that competition, because you're going to have promoters. People want stuff, and there are people that are always going to feel like they're entrepreneur enough to promote something. Yeah. So I think there's got to be a backdrop of mentorship.
And the Nightlife game is the most I could do it to game ever. Yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
I think everybody feel like they can do better. This party I could do it better. I could DJ better. I could play better songs. It's like the most I can do it to environment.
I think it has a lot. I think there has to be a healthy balance of mentorship and strategy. Because I've been to events where cats will play the fighting songs, the Nuck If You Bucks, the I'll Beat You, them We Some Headbusters. They'll play that song, but they'll play it early on when motherfuckers ain't as loose because of the drinks. They ain't as rowdy. They still gonna enjoy the song. Now, of course, you might have that one nigga who show up and he been drunk since 7 p.m. So that's the nigga you be like, we got to drag him out. But it's just, I've seen people set up their DJ sets differently to where, okay, this song's gonna get played here because I know they ain't gonna be on this type of bullshit. This song gonna get played here because the girls might be loose and feeling themselves and want to find them a nigga to dance on, and the men might be. So I think I don't know how to start with it. I just feel like if there's a healthy balance between that two, that can start off a better idea of like, hey, how do we run this and shit don't go off the wall? And at the same time, when me and my homeboys, when we had to organize our own shows at spots like the Snake Pit, we had to organize our own show, and we knew to hire our homeboys who, they big in stature and, they're threatening, but they keep their poise and they not gonna act the ass and great. You know what I mean? We knew not to hire our homeboys who are looking for some bullshit. They're like, I kill this motherfucker right now. We knew not to hire them niggas. Like, nah, y'all stay home. You know what I'm saying? Like, we in us, me and my friends, we were just very, very square. We was into a lot of the same bullshit, but we, our homeboys that we knew had no sense. Every now and then, we'd have one that'd be like, nigga, you fucking up our money. Get the fuck out of here. But, we luckily we had enough respect mutually with them that they were able to come to our events and our shows that we organized. And we could be like, yo, man, do us a favor. Just chill. Not tonight. If we need you for that type of shit, we'll come find you. But this ain't that kind of event, man. Just chill out. So
I can't control niggas. I don't give a fuck. I wish you could.
Man,
one thing I have learned the hard way through this shit. I wish you could, though. But you can't. Niggas, I don't give a fuck. So once a person like cross that line where they just like, I don't give a fuck. When people say they with the dumb shit, that is exactly what it means. They are willing to throw away everything right now and do dumb shit to throw away their life right now. It is exactly what it means. Right now, I am in this moment where I'm ready to throw my life away for this moment.
What do a boy say on
the whole shit? Throw it in the trash. I'll do that right now.
Boondocks.
They're tipping. They're telling you, I'll throw my whole life away right now, nigga.
I tell you.
So, me, I'm a high level communicator. A lot of people be like, Tanner, how you stay so cool? How you? Because I literally like really high level communicator.
Just pay attention, read the room.
And I live in a world where I'm not always right. I always leave open room for understanding other people's shit.
So that's humility. And again, people don't expect that from the management, right?
Exactly.
They expect promoters and owners to be arrogant because, first of all, a lot of them are just like that. And so the person that has the longevity is the one that understands this humility. Your lifeblood in the club game is the customer.
Right.
It's not your cover. It's not even the DJ. It's the person walking through the door. And if those people don't feel appreciated, then your shit's gonna last about 6 months.
And you're right. When the owner has that humility and has that, and say that person is tripping in the club, they able even to solve problems better. So when they understand that I don't give a fuck level, he's not gonna be able to. A lot of people think they can calm a nigga down by giving them understanding. Right. That shit don't work. No. 99% of the time. You know what I'm saying? For real. Right. So a person with that, he has to get him out as soon as possible because it's not. Does that understand? Make sense? Yeah. Let's de-escalate this whole situation as soon as possible, and you will know how to approach the situation when you're giving it that understanding. Even not looking at the person tripping mad. You know, if that makes sense, you're even giving the understanding to the person tripping. I understand, nigga, that you're not going to calm down. So let me play the situation like this. Yeah. Boom. Get him out this area. And don't even talk to him.
Definitely finesse it.
Let's not try to give him talk to him and try to calm him down and all that other shit. Get him outside. Get him over there. Boom, bam, bam.
The number of times I didn't trick somebody out the club. Right? Just, because I'm like, okay, I got to do some jujitsu, mental jujitsu on this dude. Mm-hmm. But the result is, at some point, he going to be out the door. I also know, because some people you can't walk out because it's a rule almost that the closer you get to, like right when they get to the door, like you could be at the back of the club, right? I could roll up to a dude, hey man, like it's a problem. I'm gonna have to escort you out, and they cool. Oh, I understand. And then you get 3 feet away from the door, and it goes. Bonkers.
It's a whole other person,
right? Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. So I've now I learned. Okay, I'm gonna have to trick them out. Mm-hmm. Right? Hey, somebody need to talk to you, or hey man, the owner wants to, talk to you, or the manager needs to talk to you, or hey man, just come outside real quick so we can settle this and I get you back inside. And then as soon as we out the door, they ain't coming back in. Yeah. I don't know how many times you gotta like finesse somebody in those situations.
You're right. But I'm glad you understand how it's finessing sometimes.
It's more often
you gotta play the trick the fool sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
man. But you gotta approach you like you said. You strategize. Because I'm not. Look, I can fight, yo. And that's the funniest professionally,
thing.
Right?
The thing is, but the owners don't understand. They're looking at somebody and thinking they don't understand the situation. They think if you tell him this, he should understand. It should be over. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? That's really how they see the situation. Yeah. We won't understand. These niggas ain't that simple, nigga. You gonna have to. That nigga's already tripping. He's proved his point.
I've had that happen.
And he's not gonna stop till he proves his point. That's how most people are. They're really not gonna.
I've had it happen where you've had to verbally jog with somebody. Yeah, bro. Hey man, let me talk to you. What's going on with you? Well, it's this, and this, and this. Well, how can we fix this? Well, I want this, and this. I can't get that till you play. Well, fuck it then, I'm gonna leave.
It's like,
gotcha.
Damn it. You like, because you know what? They're coming back next week, bro. Yeah. I promise you. The people who demonstrate the most about how they hate the club, they hate me, my mama, the owner, everybody in the club, them motherfuckers be back the next week.
Next week.
Acting like nothing happened. And I'll be like, come on in. We gonna be good this week?
Right. I seen a comment on here, and I wanted to ask y'all on. It said, they said, if somebody dies at your event, you're an accomplice. How do y'all feel?
I meant to bring that up.
Before I even tell you, I want to know.
To what?
To the murder, I guess. That's what they're trying to say. Yeah.
By law, absolutely not. And I was watching him as he brought it up in a moral way, and I'm like, how is the
morality?
What? How is the moral compass on something like that? How does first of all, I disagree with you wholeheartedly. I disagree with you. I don't think the moral compass falls on the DJ, the promoter, the event
Christ,
planner.
is that what
Because
we
I done seen niggas act the
I would
ass.
love to know the underlying point that he's trying to make. Like, should the club owner be arrested? Should security be arrested? Like, what's the point? Because if you're an accomplice, that means you could be convicted and serve time. So if someone dies at the club, should police come in and just arrest?
This hit home for me because it's a touchy, sensitive situation for myself. Because in the 10 years coming up, thousands of events, I had one event where somebody did pass. But they didn't pass in the club outside. It was actually, outside the club. So nobody had responsibility, you know what I'm saying? But it did happen in the vicinity at the time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That always fucked with me. And it always, you know what I'm saying? It does matter. It does leave a scar. And it does, you know what I'm saying? It does carry with me, period. So it hit home when he's like, you're an accomplice. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I would hope there's something else about that question.
Now
I just don't
that
know.
can apply it was a pure negligence in the club. You know what I'm saying? Or something that you can absolutely, I was in there that y'all could have stopped. The security was right. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense. I would understand that type of situation where like somebody got shot in the parking lot and some shit. To be like, the promoter's an accomplice. It's like,
no, absolutely not.
Because that goes back to was it the music? Like, is rap music promoting violence, and should we hold artists responsible and the DJs responsible?
That's why I say then you're gonna go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, you have to.
That was a rabbit hole question for sure.
And that's why I say,
comment for sure. We went down that motherfucker too. We was like, what?
That's why I say, like, you definitely. When and again to you, sir, I'm speaking as the patron. There's times I done been in events. I done been to a KDJ Above event and nothing went down, but I could see the niggas that was looking for some bullshit to get into. I've been to a DJ Spider event and seen. You just have to and that's what I use. I carry that over into doing security at the comedy show is being able to read and observe and look and be like, okay, maybe avoid this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe I don't know, we can't control what the DJ play. The DJ got a dope set. If it's going to get the people's reaction, the DJ can't control everyone's mental and how people are going to react to certain songs. I can hear Kill Everybody in this motherfucker in a song, and I don't be like, I'm going to do that shit soon as this motherfucker I'm going to kill everybody. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I hate the music. I hate the hip hop. I hate to blame the hip hop. But I hate blaming the music conversation. You know why? It's just because it's what you're attracted. There's gospel. There's a million gospel. There's hip hop gospel. Crazy genre like this. It's what you're attracted to. Exactly. You don't gotta do nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's you're getting attracted to this shit. There's literally so much other music. Like literally towers, millions, billions of songs of other shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I done listen to. As a kid, because I was curious, being around my friends who were gang members, you know what I'm saying? I've heard the Banging on Wax records. I've heard the Bloods and Crips albums. And these niggas was killing each other for 45 minutes straight and then ended it off with bullets don't have no name. And at no point in time did I go, you know what? I'm going to go outside, kill everybody out this motherfucker, boy. Because it's just, there has to be a level of self-control. Now, that I can say is solely up to the patron. There has to be. How many times have we heard our elders or people in the club that we know are just good folks that ain't a part of that type of lifestyle look at you and go, hey, man, act like you got some sense. We've heard that time and time. I'm 40 years old, and I know for a fact I've heard that many a times in my life. Not said to me, just people that you can see is on some bullshit that night. Or some of y'all bring these niggas knowing that they your partners. And you should pull your partner to the side and be like, yo, man, chill out. Not tonight. Yeah. I'm looking for some.
I wish we had more of that accountability.
It has to be. That's the part that I 100% believe is the patron.
You brought your homie. Both y'all, all y'all been together. You know he tripping. And you can't just tell him. It's kind of like when you see a girl or even a dude with like something fucked up about their clothes. And you be like, hey, man, where your friends at? Because they didn't say nothing to you. You know what I'm saying? Your tag hanging out. You know what I'm saying? Or something on your clothes. They didn't even brush it off. And it's like, I wish we had more of that accountability, man.
I do too, because you're right, because it's the same shit when niggas go out at the night and I got my gun on me. You keep telling it. But when shit actually go down and nigga get mad, you gave me that energy all night. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And then don't be all mad at me when I'm on one now. You know what I'm saying? That's what niggas do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We good. I got the pistol. I got the nah.
Right.
Then we get there and the niggas start getting on one. Nigga, calm down. Nigga, feed your nigga the right energy, the right shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm glad that you said it's music. Niggas forget it's entertainment. I hate that people can't watch them. You watch a movie wanting to be the nigga in the movie. Like, for real. Like, can you watch a movie and not want to? You watch Scarface and just be like, I don't want to be.
Fuck it, this is the
watch Nino Brown
lifestyle.
and be
You know
like,
what I mean?
I want to be Nino Brown exactly. Like, I want that die. I want to. Like, you can watch a movie and easily not want to be them. You right?
Yeah.
You should do the same with music. You be able to enjoy the song. Hey, that was a good ass song, but not want to be the person.
I
You know what
agree.
I'm saying? It's entertainment. It's entertainment.
That's exactly. I've said it many a times on this podcast, and me and Ruckus shoot the shit about this movie all the time. I done seen Pimps Up, Hoes Down several times since I was 15 years old. It's inspiring. It makes you feel like you can do that shit, but you don't really go, you know what, I'm gonna do that shit.
I'm a pimp because of
Yeah,
the movie.
thank you.
I
Niggas watch movies and shows all day and not just want to be. Niggas watch Law and Order. You can watch Law and Order back to back. I watch niggas watch Law and Order and not want to be police.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I still don't want to be
You
a
don't think
cop.
that makes sense?
Right.
It's the same with music. Why can't you? You can hear about a nigga, maybe a story happening where a nigga died and not want to kill niggas.
Well, it's because of the fantasy. Look, motherfuckers is broke and depressed, and when you hear something that where they presenting the fantasy of wealth, right, and women, then when we look at our own lives and they kind of broken, a little bit fractured, we tend to fall for that, right? We don't know that them cats in the video, none of them cars is theirs. Right? That mansion is somebody else's. It ain't even a brother's mansion. It's a white dude's mansion. They done rent it out. But
Cribs.
they don't. Yeah, bro.
They was renting all of them fucking.
Remember when Yin Yang Twins did Cribs, and you just knew that is not your motherfucking house, yo.
That was like, probably what broke the mold for me.
Yeah,
I was like
you just it was right in your face. Like you
know
knew these Negroes did not live
culture
there.
and stuff. It's fake. We even know it's fake, and we don't even care it's fake. The people that's even up tell us it's fake. It's like everybody says it's fake. Anybody in the game tell you it's fake, and every song. Rap game's fake.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I just seen an interview with Bobby Shmurda. He said he's done rapping. He said he don't even listen to rap. Because
he knew what he was. Yeah,
it's fake. He's like, it's all like, bro, y'all don't even understand. Y'all just living in the fake world.
Right.
It is. It's the truth though.
Right.
But we it's so hard because it feels good, and I accept that because I make the same mistakes. So I don't try to like.
Yeah, well, and so the
Like,
solution is sometimes we gotta have a glimpse of reality.
Yeah.
Like sometimes we gotta, gotta show.
We have to.
Yeah, we gotta show the realness where then now people can get a better picture. Because first of all, they realize, we've been fooled. We've been sold this bullshit, and we didn't even know.
We've been set up in a system that's just a losing system. They give us a bunch of shit we really don't want, but made us act like we do. But convinced us that we do want it. But you know what I'm saying? Like all the killing, murder shit, and spending black ops. But when our peoples die, we are literally crying, sad, and everybody like, you know what I'm saying? Then we gotta live in that reality of what this shit actually means of what we're promoting every day. And all, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's so how many. I remember when I watched T.I. do his little community service program where he would take kids to the morgue, and you could tell like while they may have seen people get shot, and especially in the movies, because motherfuckers get shot all the time on the TV show, and then at the end they back. But when you see somebody that's dead with a toe tag that's right there, you could see that there's a different experience with that. And I think more of those, I'm just really just use that as an example, but I think more reality checks. Reality checks have to be in
my biggest reality check when my nigga KL died.
Okay.
And you know what I'm saying? He died over really some gangbanging shit and that type of shit. And just the realistic reality that the value got nothing.
Right.
Scared the hell out of me. My nigga didn't have no kids. He wasn't married. Like he didn't leave much. And he died for this and just it shook me to my core of just the reality of that. And you know what's funny at the same time is when Black Lives Matter all cracked off and all that shit went off. And it kind of frustrated me because everybody cared about these people more than my nigga because he got killed by police. Right. And my nigga,
not because
he's less valuable because he got killed by a nigga. You know what I'm saying? When I really think it should be right there. So I always lost respect for that. That's why I love and I'm always Black movement and shit. But bro, we had Black Lives Matter until Black Lives Matter to Black people.
Can I
That's really shit ever.
Can I piggyback on your example? One of the most realist experience I had around death was in a funeral. So I'm a Muslim, and when our people die, we literally put them in the ground. There's no casket. The casket gets taken to the gravesite, and they get taken out of the casket
and put in the
ground.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the experience of handling a body like that? Like, it's one thing to see. Most of us seen dead people, but it's worse when it's like someone that you knew, and then it's even worse when they hand you the body, and now this person is in your arms, and you're standing in the grave, because it's not like you take the body and drop it in there.
Yeah.
Where you got to get down in the grave, and you're like, I might be here at some point.
Right.
That's when you start. So and that, you know, I've been Muslim 30 years, but it was that first burial, that first funeral where I was like, damn, this is like for real. Yeah, and it was a reality, a real reality check.
Real reality.
Yeah, yo, like that. Yeah. So we seen the funerals. We feel a certain way about being at the funeral, but the funerals are all the same thing. Put the body in the casket. We'll look at it. Maybe, you know, kiss it. Put the red rag or the blue rag in there. Close the casket, and then it goes off to the grave. You might be a pallbearer, but it's a whole different thing when that body is in your arms, and you're like, man, yo, it's lighter.
Right.
Like, and it ain't moving. Whoa.
I hear you. So, you know what, man? I want to cap off with this, and I feel like we all could add to what was just said. So, one of the comments state, y'all don't want to have any accountability because y'all make money off the music and the clubs. So I would definitely say, you having the experience that you have, go ahead and shoot on that.
I love that conversation that you even said that, and you really opened that conversation. For one, for me, I always thought I always had a gift of bringing people together. So understand my intentions before you try to, you know, make judgment. Intention is always to bring people together and enjoy what I think we are deserved. In this culture, we go through all these problems, and we saying we should play music, we should code, but the reality is it shouldn't be that hard. Okay, so when I'm coming with this intention of just love and pure, it shouldn't be that hard for me to get that result I'm looking for. So understand when we throwing these parties and this money, true, and I can't. This is off my experience. Other people are doing. Some people do get too greedy and overlook the safety hazards, and that's what we spoke on those people before. But for the most part, I can speak for like Kevin Kane, Squizzy, like most of the promoters that's really been doing this. It's not really just. Of course, it's money, and it's not that they don't care or nothing in the music shit. Because you're right, it does have entitlement. I accept that when I'm playing this music. I know the energy is given, so I understand the risk as well. Right. So I'm a different type. So I take an understanding of all that. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I've signed up for it. You know what I'm saying? When I make the choices, I'm choosing to do that. When I say that, we do everything to do nobody to get hurt. But understand it shouldn't be this hard, and we're not controlling people. So when we put these things up with good intentions, and they say, you know, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Yeah. I understand that too, okay? Yeah. But understand that it's out of love. So it's hard to downplay somebody when they're trying to do something for the culture and for their peoples out of love, and something like that happens that's out of your control. So it's not about accountability. We take accountability when the accountability is there. But when somebody has a beef with somebody they seen in the parking lot and just took advantage of that situation, I don't see much accountability that can go to Kevin Kane for that night. You know what I'm saying? Because his intention was to everybody have a good time and have a great time. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Yeah. So I don't see that as him avoiding accountability. All right, we understand what this comes with, and we signed up for it. And Kevin Kane had 1,000 parties. Squizzy had 1,000 parties. So we understand what it comes with. Yeah, we know what it. You know what I'm saying? We know the risks and the safeties and shit. But that being said, we think it's worth it for this service that we give to people that do enjoy it, that do have fun, that do have these nights, that do have the birthday parties, and do have that. So we just think that's deserves for us, if that makes sense. Yeah. That makes it worth them risks. Right. Okay? So I hope that gives some type of understanding to your question where nobody's avoiding accountability. We're just taking on the risk to give a service. You know what I'm saying? So these people understand the risks and that shit, and it's not that they're not less important. We just think it's important that we're able to give this service that we deserve. You know what I'm saying? Because understand things are not supposed to be this hard.
Well, I want to at least honor the comment, and because that's a hot button. You know, money is kind of always a crazy motivator. But I think, you know, maybe some of it is what people's impression about promoters and club owners that goes back to, do they have an interest in us outside of being a consumer? I love the fact that Squizzy and Kevin and like K-Tona, especially, like, you know, K-Tona's been on this mental health issue, especially for the past couple of years. And so I love seeing those types of things, and because I think it does address maybe some of the stigma of if I'm a promoter or owner, I don't care about my constituents or about my customers. And so seeing those efforts on the philanthropic or charitable standpoint, I think will go a long way in sort of addressing, because it's resentment. When you said read the question now, I was like, ooh, I can feel that resentment, because that his comment isn't about accountability as much as we feel some sort of way that you guys are treating us as a commodity, and then when something goes down, we don't see you step up. Well, it's happening. The promoters and DJs are promoting issues that matter beyond just the music. And to see, if we just see more of that and are consistent on that, I think that will address some of the resentment that sort of underlines that comment. At least that's the way I perceived it.
No, I agree, man. And I definitely want to shout out Midas as well, because Midas is someone who, started as far as the mental health kick. And going forward and seeing what we can do to help in that sense. And I hear y'all, man, as far as responsibility and so forth, and what accountability looks like. But again, I can't stress enough, they can only do what they can on their end as far as the DJ, the promoter, and what their intentions are and what the plan was for that night. Security can only do the same as far as what our plan is. And you know what I mean? When I do security, every now and then I get that person that wants to act an entire ass with me. I ain't did nothing to him. I don't know him from a hole in the wall. I've come across niggas who don't like me, who will come to an event that I'm being security, and I'm like, yeah, I need to see your ID. This is just my job, player. And now you want to act ass with me because of some woman that I ain't fucked around with in over 10 years or some shit. But you move the way that you moving, and now I'm like, well, you're not finna fuck up my money, so I gotta step in and do what I gotta do, or have my people that are with me step in and do what they gotta do, and be like, well, we gotta get this dude up out of there. I feel like this, man. If you feel like there's more that the promoters, the event planners, the securities, the people who own the venues, if you feel like there's more they can do, okay, point that out. But just know we also have the right to point out, if you're the patron and you're coming in already on some bullshit, we have to move in a way that we have to move, because at the end of the day, not only is it about, like, if we lose that livelihood, y'all not finna get that back for us. Y'all don't have the means and the ability to get that back for us. If we gotta some of us got kids and families we want to go back home to, and we risk that when we're out there, and you guys have your peers that you know good and goddamn well don't mean nobody no good, but you brought them with you because you thought, oh, well, if somebody act ass with me, I got my partner with me. Just the way you want to hold the DJs accountable for the music that they play and say, oh, well, if you didn't play this wouldn't have happened, so that life is on your hands. If your partner is on some bullshit and you brought him with you, and he do something and somebody die as a result of that, that life's on your hands too, because you knew your partner was on some bullshit. So you can't, it's got to be both ways. That's why I said at the beginning of the show, we have to figure out where each resolution can be with all parties involved.
When people speak like that, they speak in a world where gun violence only exists in this world. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Right.
So when I tell you I've had 1,000 parties through my 10 years and only one situation then fucked up, right? Mm-hmm. And I can look at King Supers who done got the massacre and they had the thousands of who's been, you know what I'm saying, had just longevity, but they had that. Did they carry the same responsibility? Does that make sense? You see how people gotta think in the same way. We're not the only place that experiences gun violence and everything. So if we're going to start putting that type of responsibility on them, we need to put it all across. Responsibility needs to go all everywhere. The way across the board. Exactly. You got to expect that when you go to the grocery store, when you go to the Family Dollar, because the same thing happens at these places. People just don't think they do. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Because I can tell you only one time out of the thousands of parties and events, this happened. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So them odds, they're very, 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 very low. If I tell you, same as if you go to the store, because you say people got massacred at the store. Now what's the odds of you getting shot at King Supers? You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like you gotta carry that same energy. That same energy. And when you're speaking on this, when you're speaking on any gun violence type of situations, when you're talking about accountability and stuff. So if we're talking accountability, is downtown accountable for the people that just got shot at the at the celebration. Exactly. It's that same rabbit hole. We're in the same place. They set an environment where people can get hurt. You know what I'm saying? And out of the good intentions. We're in the same exact world. You know what I'm saying? Just because we're black don't make it a different conversation.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. We because sometimes it's easier to scapegoat people when you talk about accountability and blame, it ain't where you're pointing. We're just used to pointing at certain people and of a certain skin color. It's easy to
point at a promoter because they're partying and but you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all because I see what y'all saying down there, but I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. If you buck in the club and in your mind you want to start some shit, that's weak. That's fucking weak to me. I don't hear none of these, and again, that's just me. I can't speak for everybody in the club, but I feel like it's weak as shit to me if you hear these crazy ass records. You know what I mean? I think it's weak as shit if you hear these songs and be like, "Yeah, I want to act stupid."
It's too many of us. It's too many of us of our gender that are weenies.
At this point, this is where I get it. We gotta start putting accountability at the right place, which is our culture. We promote this, and we gotta start acting like we don't. We promote that energy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Fuck, we do. And it's hard not to expect people not to have it. Right. It's really hard for not to expect people that, because we literally promote this really very hard. Yeah. Really hardly. We put it in everybody's faces. We promote this energy. We don't give up. We don't like a song unless he's really on some bullshit, okay? Like, you know what I'm saying? We put that, we train these kids. Like, you know what's funny? I was with my nephews, and they all 16, 15, 14, and I start having them rap, right? Everybody's freestyling. Guess what the fuck every one of them's freestyling about?
Killing everybody outside.
Killing, they are the most murderous group of
killing
kids
everybody
you ever
outside.
met. They got chopsticks, pistols, and then so we don't recognize that and understand we're training killers from young age. I've been trained young age to be able to kill a black man. Okay. Right. It's been that I'm able to do it. I'm able to do it. I'm able to do it. Like it's really like same shit I got from them rapping. All they're saying is I'm being trained to kill black people. I'm putting it in my head right now. So when it comes to that day to pull a trigger, I am at that mental state.
I'm in training. I'm an expert now.
Nigga, I'm already convinced that I'm a murderer. Right. I'm literally convinced I got sticks and I've been in ops and I think.
Yeah, because I can come off the dome and rhyme like bars about that very thing.
But now when they go to the club older, we expect them not to be on that. That's what I'm saying. I hate that our culture don't take zero accountability for the shit. I'm just saying. That's why I be telling niggas, if you don't want drama, go to a goddamn gospel retreat. Yeah. Like for real, that's real. I'm just being. If you make a choice to really go to the native
or go to a rave,
go to where. Yeah, I'm just saying anywhere status. You make a blue bar. You make
some other music.
Understand how to move. Yeah. Understand that you're making that choice to be around shit that attracts this stuff. Now you understand how to move. That's why I don't be in the shit, gunshots and all that shit. I'll never be. I always hear about it, not be there. Every time I be there, but I just hear about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I know how to move. I understand that. I ain't gonna walk towards the niggas fighting. I ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? I know how to move correctly. Does that make sense?
And that's again, that's a read the room kind of thing that, okay, maybe everyone across the board can do that, including the patrons, because y'all keep avoiding that patrons talk and ask us to be responsible for certain things. And we're like, yeah, well, this is what we can be responsible for in the meantime. Okay, I tell you what, you go to a venue, if you buck don't get played, and a fight still break out, then get back to me on that. Is all I'm saying to you. But again, I can't stress this enough. It's sad that you want DJs, promoters, event planners. It's sad that you want them to be more accountable than the people who we was gonna have a problem with them no matter what. I've seen it many times at
stop blaming security. Stop blaming the people. Stop blaming the entertainers. That's the cure, is take accountability for yourself and your actions, your choices. I swear that's the choice.
That's the choice.
So if you know this shit is, you can take it. It's unavoidable if you understand you taking accountability. So if I'm watching a movie and I want to be like Scarface and I watch films, I understand that. I understand I'm making a choice that I could get killed and it's going to end just like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Exactly.
People don't understand. Make that choice.
Yeah, and that's what I'm looking at. And when I see what y'all are saying, I'm looking directly at y'all. I had a night where a man over and over and over throughout a 2-hour show. Why can't I smoke my vape in here? Why can't I smoke? Is it just me? Are you just targeting me? No, nigga, I can't let no one in here smoke. So at the end of the night when I'm like, dude, stop asking me. I can't do that. Now this nigga wants to fight me because I won't let him smoke his vape in a building that no one can smoke a vape in. That's my fault? I'm asking you, is that my fault that this man kept going on and on for 2 hours straight about a goddamn vape like a basehead? And at the end of the night, he wants to fight me because all night I told him no to some shit that everyone in the building has to go by. Because he feels like I targeted him. I didn't target him. It's just that you wanted to take that entitlement and that, brother, we brothers. No, nigga,
take that entitlement.
I'm supposed to fuck up my money because you don't want to be responsible? No, nigga, wait till you go outside. Wait till you go. Okay, the doors is locked. Okay, well then wait till the show over. You know what I mean? Funny. So I'm asking you, what part of the responsibility, again, lies on the goddamn patron? If I'm all night trying to be a decent person to you, and at the end of the night, you still on some fuck shit and want to fight me, and now it's 6 security guards, and we just gonna stomp you out, because again, we stomp you out, throw you out the building, and let the police come pick you up, because they don't come ask us shit. What part of that is your responsibility as opposed to mine? You get what I'm saying? Like, y'all got to balance that out, because I ain't answering no more questions.
But the answer is, it really is all of it. Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, because but that's also the point. That is
the real answer.
They're the light. Yeah, it really is. It's not an easy answer to hear, but if that comes on the tail end of, but you're important. This is why the responsibility is yours, right? Because of what you do. You feed me. You feed my family. You create the atmosphere, so you're the important piece here, which means, don't come to my club with your dusty ass Orlando shorts, right? It's just that simple.
See, I love that, because I want people to understand and take this away. If anybody, when you going out, please understand the dangers of everything. So I'll be out every week, and everybody know I'm really like. So I get to see. In the last few weeks, I've seen a lot of shootings, a lot of fightings, a lot of shit. Right. That kind of like. It makes me nervous to my core. So understand that communication is literally the key. So when you communicating, understand when you can't communicate with somebody. Understand when you know what I'm saying. When I tell you communication is the key, and if I was in the club and I could throw a party with 100 people that know how to communicate every time, I promise you there'll never be an issue, never, not once. And that's when he says, when does it fall on the patron? Because I swear, if I had 100 people that know how to communicate every time, there'll never be an issue. Hear that when you say that. There will never be a shooting. There will never be. Everybody in here can feel some type of way. Everybody in here can feel differently, but still know how to party together. Because that's people that know how to communicate. Does that make sense? Yeah. That means I don't have to agree with you, but I can communicate that we don't agree and we can be cool.
All right, and we're good. Yeah.
It's wow, you know what I'm saying? Boom. So understand when y'all going out, please don't take shit lightly, man. it's not worth proving a point to anybody because when you meet people drunk and shit, all they want to do is prove their point. Yeah. And you're not trying to prove their point. Let them have it. Walk away. If you always walk away, walk away. You know what I'm saying? Because you're dealing with people that don't know how to communicate.
And
so you want to deal with somebody that don't know how to communicate, walk away when you can. That's my biggest point.
And at the same time, I want to cap it off like this because you keep saying he's feeling the fire. That's the problem. How come you don't get that? You know how many times we done heard scenarios and we know somebody who was popular in this town who got killed trying to de-escalate a situation. He wasn't there to fight. He wasn't there causing no problems. There was just people in there starting shit. You know how many times we done been in these venues and seen niggas acting their ass and then tried to, hey man, this ain't it, y'all. Let's just chill. Let's have a good time. And you have a couple of niggas who are going to listen to you and, man, you right. I'm on some, my bad, I'm tripping. But you always going to have that one nigga that's like, fuck all that, nigga. You can see me too. And it's like, we can't be responsible for everyone in the club and how they conduct themselves. It's not possible. I done did at the Mike Epps show, it was over 300 people in that venue. And I have to watch 300 people. And out of those 300 people, one person decided to go against every fucking rule that we had there. And instead of being responsible for a responsible adult for her fucking self. Get what I'm saying? So we gonna cap the show off because we can be on this shit all night.
Before you go, because
let me get
he's on my top a little bit. And he's like, he says he hates the culture to get fed. Let me get one thing straight, man. I do this shit purely off of love. I don't pay no bills. I don't pay nothing off of this. Okay, DJ ain't nothing. I'm a six-figure nigga. I have a career. I'm a market sales rep. This is not the only world I live in, okay? I'm actually successful in multiple worlds. So before he's getting fame, he's getting money, this doesn't pay none of my bills, this is something I do off of the love of it, okay? So let's get that. And then you are correct when you say, he say he hates this, but he feels fire. But unfortunately, that's our culture. Yeah. It's literally you can't get away from it. If you like it, you're gonna. It's literally I explained that too many examples. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that. Listen, I'm looking right at you. I understand that, and I wish it was different. And we can have conversations how to change it and how to do it. But I love it. I was born in it. I was trained in it like everybody else is, right? So you're right. But I have a complete understanding that we are set up in a cycle that's lose to lose. It's set up to lose that fuels the fire that we hate. And that's just our cycle. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's my whole point is we hate killing all the other, but we promote killing all the that's everything. Yeah. Everything in our culture contradicts each other. So I don't mind that you see a contradiction in me, because you should. Yeah. It is. It's reality. Right. I like to live in reality. I don't like to live in how shit should be. Right. I live in shit how it is. It's not right. You're right. Well, 100% not right. I wish it was different, but it's not. Okay.
We promote, like in my day job where I work in prison. I always talk about one thing because there's so many factors that lead to incarceration, and we all know that. But one important thing that I end up talking the most about is the power of choice. And the reason why I talk about it is because as a people, we've always been sort of excluded from the lesson that there is a power in your choices. We just have never been given choices. And then without choices, we haven't experienced what is the consequence of being able to exert your choices. Yeah. So a lot of what we're talking about is that. So they're not listening. That's why the answer to the question of whose responsibility.
They gotta soak that in.
It's the customers, because they made the choice.
That's why I can live with it. That's
drive to the club. Without that, we ain't work. I don't gotta work. If you don't come to the club, I'm good.
Look at them, so they know we can live with the situation we're saying right now, because we understand choices.
Word. So I'm looking at y'all. I'm looking at the brother and the sisters that have made these comments and questions.
He said, "So you fight? So fights at the church are the pastor? Hold on. What did he say? Fights at the church are the pastor and the congregation's fault." Are the pastor and his congregation's fault?
No. The people it's the people that are fighting.
Thank you. That's the
like,
whole.
It's still.
Because you came to church.
It's still their choice. The
Understanding
power,
the beliefs of the church and still fight.
Yeah, they didn't just like wake up in the church with their fists up. Like they make.
Thank you.
You make those choices
Until people start taking responsibility for themselves.
We gotta promote an understanding about the power of choice. We are a people that have always been excluded from being able to make choices and enjoy the power. Ever since the Emancipation and the 13th Amendment, those things have come to us and we've just been struggling with that. There's no reason for us to go to a club where a person is promoting with music and the result is you pull out a gun and kill somebody. But when you understand that the power began when you either brought that gun or when you just decide to pick out your clothes for that night. Mm-hmm. When you understand the consequence and the power of those choices, then you can start exerting that power in a much more responsible way.
That's exactly what I mean. Like in the perfect example, I have on a pair of all red Air Maxes. You're not gonna see me at fucking Agave Shore in these. Do you know why? Because I know what location I'm in. You know what I mean? Right. Just the way that I'm leaving fucking Creamery one day and forget I got a Michael Vick jersey on and I hear "Hey nigga," and I'm like, damn, you right.
Yeah,
you right to the motherfucker, man. My bad. That's you know what I'm saying? That's what I mean by choice.
I made a bad decision. I made a bad decision. Now I got to change it.
I just know, and that's why people are so shocked. Like me, I'm a square person that don't bother nobody, and I don't go nowhere where I got to bring one of my guns. You get what I'm saying? So for me, the reason I'm able to go anywhere, rather it be the East Side or, you know, I grew up in Park Hill or Montbello or Aurora or anyone's venue, is because I'm just respectful of everyone. I'm respectful of the rules of where I'm at. So you're not going to see me somewhere. I'll wear these when I'm home in Park Hill because I'm home. Ain't nobody, if a nigga might joke with me like, yeah, I'm going to have to get them up off you. Like, you crazy. But I respect where I'm at, man, at all times. And that's what I ask of the patrons. What you're asking of us, I hear you. All right. I hear what you're asking of us. What I'm asking in return is for y'all to take some accountability and understand the rules of where you are. You know what I'm saying? I had a partner, and we keep trying to exit, but I promise you, I had a partner. He came with me to a after-hours motorcycle club, and one of their rules was to pull your pants up. Mm-hmm. And he started arguing, and I was like, "Hey, man, these niggas will toss us in the back alley and beat the shit out of both of us. Pull your fucking pants up and go, and whatever they telling you to do." You do that. Respect their rules. And that's why I'm able to go anywhere and move how I move, because I respect everyone. I go into a situation meaning you well. If you don't mean me well, I have no control over that. And I'm going to leave because I have all intentions of getting home. If you don't mean me well, I'm going to do whatever I can to get home. So that makes me more dangerous than you just looking for some bullshit to get into. Because if I got to do something to you to get up off you, then that's what I'm going to do. So you have to understand, as a patron, do us a favor and please conduct yourself in a way that we can keep this going as a collective. If you see there's a problem that the DJs and the event planners and the security are doing, point it out. Hey, man, we need to talk about blah, blah, blah. Okay, man, let's see how we can fix that real quick. Like we've been talking about all night, the three of us, communication is a big thing. And you have to check your level of communication and your energy when you're approaching anyone in the world. When you check your energy and come to somebody on some decent shit, you're going to get different results. Not with everyone, and we stress that as well. Not with everyone, but when we are out, just, again, like we've been saying, we've been hearing it all our lives, act like you got some sense.
I heard you got sense.
So I'm saying, so we going to go ahead and get up out of here. On that note, I want to thank both of my guests. I want to thank Taj and Tenor for coming. Tell them where they can find you on social media, any events you got coming.
Find me at Who 10 Piece on Instagram. Find me at Donald's Tenor on Facebook. Mr. After Hours on Snapchat. And I want everybody to know, man, if you at a party and you have actually pulled out a gun to shoot somebody, you don't love your people, because it's dramatic, man. It's very dramatic. You got black mothers crawling to the ground, hoping they can go home and see their baby. So understand what you're doing and love your people more, all right?
Yeah. I can only repeat that. At the end of the day, it's really about how you view yourself. And sometimes what we say about ourselves is not the best thing. And then we don't love the people that look like us. And we got to really We have been under a long time of acute self-hate, and the remedy is acute self-love. So we got to maintain that as much as possible whenever and wherever we're at. So,
preach.
All right, well, y'all know where y'all can find me. TREY Smith, my main page, Trey the artist page. Womack was here 83 on Instagram, TREY on TikTok. I speak more political shit on TikTok than anything. I don't do none of them fun dances and all that other shit. Yeah. So if you see me on TikTok, I'm speaking political shit and things that are going on in the world and defending black women. But tune in next week. That is our season finale next week, where we're going to respond to the women who did the weenie roast. I'm gonna find 3 more, and we gonna act the whole ass with them. We need payback for that. So we gonna get up out of here. Thank y'all for watching us. Also check out Water Wars. The 16th annual Water Wars is July 16th at 2 p.m. at Del Mar Park. Now, last
10 years
weekend,
never a problem. Not one incident.
Let's
I want to
go.
stop.
Not one. There you go.
I want to end on a good note, man. Fuck black love. It's never even been an argument. 10 years, like I can literally have so much pride in this statement.
Word.
It's just about family, fun, reaching black culture, and getting to know black businesses.
Word.
It's just love. You know what I'm saying? So y'all come out.
Okay. Now you saying no, you love your people from different sections, all hanging out, all enjoying one another.
We just don't give up on our people, all right?
Exactly. So I challenge you to come to Water Wars. I'll be there. It's going to be a beautiful day. We're going to get out on that note. Thank y'all for tuning in. We will see y'all next week. Peace out.
Peace.
I really wonder who that is.
I'm really curious, too. What's happening, y'all? This one half. Shit, running back. It's your boy TREY Smith, and guess what? We are on our way back for a new season of But What Do I Know? Me and Ruckus. And we bringing our dreads. She's bringing the yams. And we gonna be here every Wednesday. And what platforms are we on this time?
I was supposed to introduce my own yams. Anyway, we out here on those platforms for y'all to follow us, to make sure that I got yams and hips to go with these yams. Nigga, the yams fun. Hashtag Rux Yams and Hips. Yams and hips. Okay. Cut the check for the yams and the locks. I need mine to get long like hers. That's what we gonna do. Give us your monies. Where does the money come from? Like what? It's gonna be drugs and strippers everywhere. We gonna do all that bullshit. She don't know it. I didn't discuss that with her, but that's cool. That's cool. That's what we do. Anyhow, check on us every Wednesday to make sure we okay. He won't stop laughing.
Take 98.
Okay, so let me put the new one.
That's my line.
Oh, that's your line.
That's my line.
Okay.
Shit.
I'm not gonna add that line. All right, here we go.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl Ruckus, one half of the What Do I Know podcast. We are coming back to y'all on Wednesday nights on the AHRR Network. And guess what? We gonna be on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. Twitch, cut the check. We out here, man.